The year is 1882. Oscar Wilde has just arrived in New York City to give one of his many lectures in America on the philosophy of beauty. Right after he arrives, he gets his photo taken in a New York City photography studio to mirror that of his literary idol, the American poet Walt Whitman, who took his photo in 1855. As soon as Wilde finishes his lecture in Washington Square Park, he demands to his press team that he needs to see his idol, Walt Whitman, who lives in Camden, New Jersey. Wilde's next tour is in Philadelphia, which is right across from Camden. So literary scholars have discussed this meeting as one in which Wilde needs to gain knowledge about how to become a literary celebrity. However, I see this as misguided. It's not one in which he has to become a literary celebrity. It's one in which he wants to gain knowledge about how to write male same-sex desire from an American poet who has been profiting off of that technique. As soon as Wilde meets Whitman, Whitman's living in his brother's house. He's just gone through a stroke that left him paralyzed, so he's not able to travel over to Philadelphia. He greets Wilde on thee and thou terms, so a very informal bond is created right away. Whitman talks to a journalist right after this meeting happens and says Wilde is so frank and outspoken and blunt and is the epitome of manly persona, which really counters what Wilde is being described as by the English press as effeminate. Wilde, the next day after the meeting, says the same thing about Whitman. He's frank, he's outspoken, he has a manly physique. Wilde's mirroring exactly Whitman's script. So Helen Cohn, a poet in 1882, writes Narcissus in Camden, which lashes onto this erotic meeting. The two actually left the company of the other men in the downstairs. They went upstairs and had some wine and formed this really intimate erotic connection that no one knows what actually happened. However, Helen Cohn writes Narcissus in Camden to cast Whitman as Pomanachides. That means the ruler of Long Island, and Wilde as Narcissus. So a quick Greek myth recap if you don't remember. Narcissus is the Greek youth who falls in love with his own image. He spurns Echo, who's a mythical woman, and denies any type of flirtation from her. So this poem sets the stage for my dissertation, which argues that Whitman and Wilde, their meeting doesn't just represent one of literary celebrity, it actually represents Wilde mirroring himself after Whitman's ambitions, Whitman's personal life, and Whitman's same-sex desire in his literature. Thank you.